Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Your Excellencies. My name is Iolanda Fresnillo. I work for Eurodat, but I'm speaking on behalf of the Civil Society Financing for Development Mechanism. Some of us were also in Washington last week to monitor IMF and World Bank policies. And we come from there deeply concerned about how much they are doing for the private sector and how little they are doing for the peoples in the Global South. Concerned about the blind faith of the Bretton Woods institutions in failed policies and mechanisms, particularly when it comes to tackle worsening debt crisis. The G20 Common Framework is clearly failing. It's not delivering what it promised, a timely and sustainable debt resolution. It hasn't provided a single dollar on debt cancellation. I said this same sentence last year, and I stick to that sentence this year. Not only debt restructurings within or outside the common framework are too long and debt reschedulings utterly insufficient, including problematic contingency clauses in the cases of Suriname or Zambia, but they are based on IMF and World Bank debt sustainability analysis that ignore human rights, financing needs for public services, or climate action investments. Debt restructurings keep prioritizing creditors' interests and opening the door to neoliberal policies and austerity through IMF conditionalities. The IMF and the World Bank are not only unable to contribute to the fair resolution of their crisis, but they are responsible for worsening the situation. If SDGs are off track, it's also precisely because of the policies of these institutions. The responses from these institutions last week are basically pushing for more lending instead of grants and reparations, so more debt, de-risking private finance flows, so subsidizing wealthy investors while Global South countries have to pay abusive interest rates, expecting leveraging a private finance that, if it appears, and let's not forget the fail from billions to trillions strategy, it's not gonna support developing priorities. Market agents, particularly from the global north, only care about profit. And let me be clear, when we say international financial architecture reform, we mean a complete overhaul of the unequal governance of the international financial institutions. We mean taking out of the hands of the IMF and the World Bank and the G20 the debt resolution portfolio into a truly multilateral debt resolution legal framework. It means regulating credit rating agencies, not just encouraging them to do better. Regulating asset managers. It means binding global debt transparency registry. It means binding responsible lending and borrowing rules. It means a rule-based debt resolution body under UN auspices. If you want to know more about this proposal, you can come to our side event on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Without this international financial architecture reform, we won't overcome the eternal cycle of debt crisis. Your Excellencies, we ask you not to let the Bretton Woods institution lead on finding solutions to the debt crisis. In their hands, all we can have is a failed and creditor-dominated common framework in which the majority of the member states in this room didn't have a say. Let's make the most of the process towards the FfD conference and build together a truly democratic economic governance and truly democratic and multilateral debt architecture that works for the fundamental structural reforms that the African Union representative was referring to. With the IMF and the World Bank in the driving seat, we will only have market sharks ruling this international financial anarchy.